The violence began in early summer, and the violence continues. And not just the violence, but we also have the massive political expression represented by the results of last Sunday's council elections. The people of Hong Kong have squarely and by an overwhelming majority expressed their grave dissatisfaction with the Hong Kong and Beijing authorities.
First thing first, I think you have to separate the peaceful demonstrators from the violent rioters. That you can only exercise the right for democracy in a peaceful environment. And secondly,
well, if I may just continue with this thought about what the council elections tell us, they had a choice. They had a lot of pro-Beijing candidates, and they had a lot of candidates expressing the views of the opposition and the protesters, the pro-democracy protesters on the streets. And an overwhelming majority, almost 400 out of the 452 seats, went to those opposition figures. The figures are actually extraordinary. 70% turnout, which is unprecedented. 17 of the 18 councils now controlled by the pro-democracy political movement.
I don't think you should have an over-interpretation of the so-called landslide victory of opposition. You know, they have though it's a 17 versus 18, but in terms of vote, it's a 60 versus 40. So 40% of the voters voted against opposition. Secondly, you know, like in any country, even in Western culture, incumbents tend to lose vote. If there's a riot, if there's violence, if there's slowdown of the economy. Exactly that is the causes by these violent, law breakers. They cause the big trouble in Hong Kong.
But if I may say so, Ambassador, you and many other Chinese officials have been saying to people like me for months that the silent majority of people in Hong Kong are not with the pro-democracy protesters and demonstrators, they are with Beijing. That's not true, and we now know that's not true.
I think it's still too early to tell. I said 40%, okay? And they, according to some report, that the pro-establishment candidates have also been harassed, interrupted, threatened. You know, some of them even, assassinated, Mr. He. So these violent radicals, they create terror. Well, I call it black terror. So that really prevent people going to the ballot poll.
Ambassador, you